Hey Gemini, I need to share something with you that honestly gave me chills when the cards started revealing themselves. I was shuffling the deck this morning and the energy that came through was so specific, so clear, that I had to sit down and really process what I was seeing. This reading is about something profound that is about to shift in your awareness within the next 7 days. We're talking about a spiritual message that is going to land in your consciousness and completely transform how you see your path forward. Before we dive into the cards, I want you to understand that what is coming is not subtle. This is not a gentle nudge from the universe. This is a download of clarity that is going to expand your awareness so rapidly that you might actually feel disoriented for a moment. But Gemini, that disorientation is exactly what needs to happen because you have been operating with limited information, and the universe is about to correct that dot. So I pulled 6 cards for you, and each one builds on the previous revelation. This is not random. The sequence matters deeply, and by the time we reach the final card, you are going to understand exactly what preparation you need to make for this incoming spiritual message. Alright. The first card I pulled for you is the 10 of Pentacles, and when this card appeared in this position, I actually had to pause. The 10 of Pentacles is about legacy, about completion of material cycles, about generational wisdom and accumulated knowledge. But here is what struck me immediately about this card in relation to your reading. The spiritual message that is dropping into your awareness in 7 days is directly connected to understanding your true legacy path. Gemini, you have been thinking about your life trajectory in very conventional terms. You have been measuring success by external markers, by what society tells you matters, by what your family expects, by what your friends are achieving. The 10 of Pentacles appearing first tells me that the message coming through is going to completely reframe how you understand wealth, security, and what you are actually here to build in this lifetime. This card shows me that you have been carrying inherited beliefs about what constitutes a successful life. These are not even your beliefs, Gemini. They were handed down to you through family conditioning, through cultural programming, through observing what seemed to work for others. And you have been trying to force yourself into a mold that was never designed for your specific soul. Blueprint. The spiritual message that lands in 7 days is going to show you that your legacy is not about accumulating traditional forms of wealth or security. Your legacy is about something far more expansive, and it has to do with knowledge transmission, with being a bridge between different realms of understanding, with creating new frameworks for how people think about spirituality and material reality as interconnected rather than separate. I am seeing that part of this message will involve a sudden recognition of resources you already possess, but have been completely undervaluing. These might be skills you consider insignificant, connections you have not activated, knowledge bases you have not monetized or shared widely enough. The 10 of Pentacles is saying that everything you need to build your true legacy is already within your field. You just have not been seeing it clearly because you have been looking through the wrong lens. What I find fascinating about this card appearing first is that it is setting up a complete paradigm shift about security itself. You are going to receive insight that security does not come from clinging to traditional structures. Real security comes from understanding the energetic laws of abundance and aligning yourself with flows of wealth that are natural to your specific frequency. This is going to change how you make decisions about work, about investments of your time and energy, about what you say yes and no to going forward. The second card that came through is the 4 of Cups, and this card absolutely validates what I was already sensing. The 4 of Cups shows someone sitting under a tree, arms crossed, looking at 3 cups in front of them with a dismissive or disinterested expression, while a 4th cup is being offered from a cloud or spiritual source that they are not even noticing. This card is about spiritual apathy, about being so focused on what you perceive as lacking that you miss the divine offering right in front of you. Gemini. This card is showing me that leading up to this 7-day mark, You have been in a state of spiritual boredom or disconnection. You have been going through the motions. Maybe you have been doing your meditation practice, but feeling nothing. Maybe you have been pulling cards, but the messages feel flat. Maybe you have been journaling, but the insights are not landing with any power. The Four of Cups is telling me that your spiritual receptivity has been dulled. And here is the thing. This was necessary. This period of feeling disconnected was actually your soul creating space for the major download that is about to come. Think about it like this. If you were already fully engaged and stimulated by your current level of spiritual understanding, there would be no room for this expansion. The universe had to create a sense of dissatisfaction with your existing framework, so you would be hungry for the new information. But what the Four of Cups is specifically warning you about is this. Even when the message starts to come through, there is going to be a moment where your ego tries to dismiss it. Your rational mind is going to say this is too simple, or this is something you already know, or this cannot possibly be the big revelation you are waiting for. The Four of Cups is telling you to pay attention to the subtle offering, because the spiritual message that drops in 7 days is not going to come with fireworks and dramatic external signs. It is going to come as a quiet knowing, as a sudden clarity that feels both completely new and somehow familiar at the same time. It might come through an offhand comment someone makes, through a passage you read in a book you have owned for years, through a dream that finally makes sense, through a moment of stillness where something just clicks into place in your awareness. The danger with the Four of Cups is that you could actually receive this message and not recognize it as the thing you have been waiting for, because it does not match your expectation of what a spiritual download should feel like. So I need you to be alert in these next 7 days. I need you to notice the thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. I need you to pay attention to the ideas that feel quietly revolutionary rather than loudly dramatic. This card is also showing me that part of your spiritual apathy has come from comparing your journey to others. You have been watching other people have these big awakening moments, these intense spiritual experiences, and you have been wondering why your path feels more intellectual, more gradual, more internal. The Four of Cups is saying stop measuring your spiritual growth against external benchmarks. Your awareness expands in a way that is unique to your Gemini nature, which is through accumulation of information that suddenly synthesizes into a new level of understanding. Now we move to the third card, and this is where things get really interesting. The Ace of Wands just flew out of the deck, and when I tell you this card is about raw creative and spiritual fire, I mean that in the most literal sense. The Ace of Wands is pure potential. It is the spark of divine inspiration. It is the moment when the universe hands you a torch and says go create something that has never existed before. Gemini. The spiritual message that is coming to you is going to ignite a creative fire inside you that you have not felt in years, maybe ever. This is not about picking up a hobby or starting a side project. The Ace of Wands is telling me that what you are about to receive is a divine assignment. You are being given a specific mission, and the clarity about what that mission is will be undeniable. Once the message lands, I am seeing that this creative fire is directly connected to your purpose for being here in this lifetime. You have been feeling like you are wandering, like you are dabbling in different things without a clear sense of direction. The Ace of Wands is the universe saying the wandering phase is complete. It is time to pick up your wand and start wielding it with intention. What I love about this card appearing after the Four of Cups is that it shows the progression. You go from spiritual disconnection and apathy to suddenly being handed this powerful tool of manifestation. The message that drops in 7 days is going to show you exactly what you are meant to be creating, building, initiating. And the energy behind this is not tentative or uncertain. This is a knowing that comes with momentum already built in. The Ace of Wands is also about passion that is sustainable because it is aligned with your soul truth. You are not going to receive this message and then have to force yourself to take action. The action is going to feel inevitable. You are going to feel pulled forward by excitement and curiosity and a sense of rightness that makes the path obvious. I am also seeing with this card that the creative fire is about communication. As a Gemini, your gift is in how you transmit information, how you connect dots that others miss, how you make complex ideas accessible. The Ace of Wands is telling me that your divine assignment has to do with speaking, writing, teaching, sharing in some form. You are being given a message to deliver, but also a new way to deliver it that is going to set you apart. Another layer of the Ace of Wands is about courage. Starting something new always requires bravery, and this card is promising that along with the message, you're also going to receive a download of courage. You are going to feel braver than you have felt. You are going to feel ready to be visible in a way you have been avoiding. The fears that have been holding you back are going to suddenly seem manageable or even irrelevant compared to the pull of this new direction. The fourth card I pulled is the Star, and I actually got emotional when this card appeared because the Star is one of the most beautiful cards in the entire deck. The Star is about hope restored, about divine guidance, about healing after a period of darkness, about renewed faith in the universe and in yourself. The Star shows a figure pouring water from two vessels, one into a pool and one onto land, symbolizing the flow between conscious and unconscious, between heaven and earth, between spiritual insight and practical application. Gemini. The Star appearing in this position tells me that the spiritual message you receive in 7 days is going to heal something in you that has been wounded for a very long time. This might be a wound around trust. It might be a wound around worthiness. It might be a wound around whether you are actually meant to do something significant in this world, or if you have been deluding yourself. The Star is saying that the message coming through is going to answer a question you have been carrying in your heart for years. Maybe you have not even articulated this question out loud. Maybe you have been afraid to fully acknowledge how much you have been doubting. But the Star is divine confirmation. You are going to receive proof that you are on the right path, that you have not been wasting your time, that everything you have experienced has been preparing you for what comes next. I am seeing with the Star that this message is going to reconnect you to a sense of cosmic support. You have been feeling alone in your journey, like you are figuring everything out in isolation. The Star is telling you that you are being guided every single step, and the message that lands is going to make that guidance undeniable. You might receive synchronicities that are so specific they cannot be dismissed as coincidence. You might have a direct experience of spiritual presence that removes all doubt. The Star is also about authenticity and being willing to be seen in your full truth. Part of the message you receive is going to involve understanding that your quirks, your contradictions, your complexity as a Gemini is not something to manage or minimize. Your multifaceted nature is exactly what makes you the perfect vessel for the work you are here to do. The Star is permission to stop trying to be one consistent thing and instead embrace your fluidity as a strength. Another beautiful aspect of the Star is that it represents sharing your gifts freely. The figure in the card is pouring water without hoarding, without measuring, without worrying about running out. The spiritual message is going to show you that the more you give of your unique insights and perspectives, the more you will have to give. There is no scarcity in spiritual truth. The well is infinite, and you are a conduit. I am also picking up with the Star that physical healing might accompany this spiritual expansion. You might notice that physical symptoms you have been carrying start to ease. Your nervous system might settle. Your sleep might improve. The Star is telling me that as your awareness expands, your body is going to recalibrate to hold more light, and that recalibration is going to feel like relief. Now we come to the fifth card, and this one made me sit back in my chair because it is so perfectly aligned with everything we have been building toward. The Seven of Swords appeared, and I know this card often gets interpreted as deception or betrayal, but in this context, it means something completely different. The Seven of Swords shows a figure sneaking away from a camp, carrying 5 swords while leaving to behind with a sly expression that could be read as cunning or strategic. Gemini. In the context of your reading, the Seven of Swords is about unconventional strategy. It is about doing things your own way, even if it looks strange to others. It is about taking what serves you and leaving behind what does not. Regardless of what you are supposed to do according to external rules or expectations, the spiritual message that lands in 7 days is going to give you permission to break rules that have been constraining you. These might be rules about how spiritual growth is supposed to look. These might be rules about what kind of work is respectable or valuable. These might be rules about how visible you should be or how much you should charge for your gifts or who you are allowed to claim as your audience. The Seven of Swords is telling me that part of your rapid awareness expansion is going to involve recognizing where you have been, playing small because you are trying to fit into someone else's framework. The message is going to show you that your path is not going to look like anyone else's path, and that is exactly the point. Your success is going to come from your willingness to be unorthodox. I am seeing that this card is also about mental agility and quick thinking. The spiritual message might come through as a series of rapid realizations, one insight triggering another, until you have this completely new understanding of your situation. Your Gemini mind is about to work at maximum capacity, making connections at lightning speed. The Seven of Swords is also warning you that not everyone is going to understand or support this new direction. Some people in your life have gotten comfortable with you staying in a certain role or operating at a certain level. When you start to expand and claim your full power, there might be resistance from people who preferred you smaller. The Seven of Swords is saying you might need to be strategic about what you share and with whom. You do not owe anyone a detailed explanation of your spiritual downloads or your new direction. You can move in stealth mode until you are established in your new frequency. Another layer of this card is about recovering what was taken from you or what you gave away too freely in the past. The spiritual message might involve recognizing ways that you have been giving your power away, ways that you have been letting others define your value, ways that you have been undercompensated or underappreciated. The Seven of Swords is about taking back what is yours and doing so without guilt or apology. The sixth and final card is the Tower, and when this card appeared, I actually had to catch my breath because the Tower is intense, but in this reading, it is exactly what needs to happen. The Tower shows a tall structure being struck by lightning with figures falling from it, representing sudden upheaval, destruction of false structures, liberation through chaos, truth that can no longer be denied. Gemini. The Tower as your final card tells me that the spiritual message you receive in 7 days is going to completely demolish an old identity or belief system you have been operating from. This is not going to be comfortable, but it is going to be necessary. The Tower is saying that something you thought was solid, something you thought you could rely on, is going to be revealed as built on a faulty foundation. This could be an identity you have been clinging to that is no longer true. This could be a belief about what you are capable of that is far too limiting. This could be a relationship dynamic that has been keeping you stuck. This could be a career path that you have been forcing yourself to stay on out of fear of starting over. The Tower is the universe saying this structure has to come down because it is blocking your expansion. What I want you to understand about the Tower is that it only destroys what is false. It only demolishes what is not aligned with your highest truth. Yes, it feels catastrophic in the moment. Yes, there is grief in letting go of old versions of yourself. But the Tower is actually a card of liberation. It is the lightning bolt of divine intervention, breaking you free from a prison you did not even fully realize you are in. The Tower appearing as your final card tells me that within 7 days of receiving this spiritual message, you are going to make a decision or take an action that is going to significantly alter your trajectory. This might look like suddenly quitting something, suddenly starting something, suddenly speaking a truth you have been holding back, suddenly ending a pattern you have been repeating for years. Asterisk, I'm seeing that the Tower moment is going to happen quickly. You're not going to have a lot of time to second-guess yourself or talk yourself out of it. The awareness expansion is going to create such clarity that the old structure cannot stand anymore. It will feel like suddenly you cannot unsee what you now see. You cannot unknow what you now know. And continuing as you were becomes impossible. The Tower is also about authenticity at all costs. The spiritual message is going to demand that you live in complete alignment with your truth, even if that truth disrupts your current life circumstances. This is where your courage gets tested, Gemini. This is where you find out if you are really ready to honor what your soul is telling you, or if you are going to try to negotiate with the universe and maintain the status quo. I also want to note that the Tower often brings unexpected events that fist the issue. So, while I am saying you might make a choice within 7 days of the message landing, it is also possible that something happens to you that creates the conditions for rapid change. Either way, the result is the same, which is that by the time this cycle completes, you are going to be operating from a completely different foundation. So let me bring all 6 cards together for you because the story they tell is profound. You are starting with the 10 of Pentacles, which is about recognizing that your true legacy path is different from what you thought. Then the 4 of Cups shows you have been in spiritual apathy, but that apathy has created space for what is coming. The Ace of Wands is the creative fire and divine assignment you are about to receive. The Star is the healing and cosmic confirmation that restores your faith. The 7 of Swords is permission to be unconventional and strategic about your path. And the Tower is the necessary destruction of false structures so you can build from truth, Gemini, within 7 days. A spiritual message is going to drop into your consciousness that will expand your awareness so rapidly it will feel almost destabilizing. But this is what you have been preparing for, even if you did not know it. Everything that has happened up until now has been building toward this moment of clarity. My guidance for you is to create space in these next 7 days. Meditate more than usual, journal, go on long walks. Reduce noise and distraction. The message is coming through, but you need to be still enough to receive it clearly. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to conversations. Pay attention to what you are drawn to read or watch or listen to. The message might come through any of these channels. And when the message lands, trust it even if it seems to contradict everything you thought you knew about yourself or your path. Trust it even if it feels scary or requires you to change course significantly. Trust it even if other people do not understand. This is your awareness expansion, and nobody else can validate it for you. The cards I pulled for you were 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, Ace of Wands, the Star, 7 of Swords, and the Tower, 6 cards that tell the story of a profound spiritual awakening that is about to change everything for you. I am honestly excited for you, Gemini, because what is coming is going to set you free in ways you cannot even imagine yet.